Konnichiwa, all of you beautiful people out there. Today I wanted to show you how I do ear training every single day, every day of the week, every month of the year, every year of the century. Anyway, before I get into all that, leave a like down below if you like the video, and leave a comment down below as well. What do you do for ear training? What is your method? Maybe I can add it into my regime as well. But let's get on with it. How do I do ear training every single day? Every single day I do 3 minutes of ear training, and I do it in a very realistic and raw manner, because when it comes to ear training, years and years ago, in decades past, I used to do testing where it was all relative pitch and you're trying to find the intervals between the things, perfect fifth, perfect fourth, all these things. And you're trying to memorize what the intervals are, and that's great. I think everybody should go hardcore into that for a couple years. Getting as much relative pitch training as possible is extremely important in my opinion, especially if you want to improvise. But when it comes down to just improvising in general, you're moving around a lot, and you really don't have time to be thinking about all of those intervals. But I really sat down and I was like, you know what is the most realistic way to ear train? And in my opinion, it is just playing what is on the top of your head, because when you're improvising, that is exactly what you're doing. And that's what I do for my ear training. I set it to 3 minutes a day. It's more about the consistency of doing it every single day than it is the quantity, the long hours of doing ear training. But what I do is I basically made a huge list on my entire phone of just songs that come to mind as I'm going through the day, just songs that I never really need to look up, songs that are just naturally embedded, burned into my skull throughout the many years of living. And I just made a huge list of those right here. As you can see, I just made a huge list of these songs that always come up in my head and that I never have to think about, and they just naturally come to me. And I basically just pick one of those songs throughout the list, and I try my best to play them as best I can, and as just purely by ear, and I do it on various parts of the neck as well. And I try my best to stay within a diatonic range around, I usually play in E minor G, so I try to generally stay within each of the scale shapes. There are times where you have to go outside of the scale shapes, because sometimes those songs are just not diatonic. They just don't work that way, but you try your best. And I think this is a very realistic way of doing it, because when you're playing, when you're improvising, you're generally staying within these shapes. And by using your ear to come up with these melodies out of nowhere, you're really realistically just on a daily basis associating these pitches in a very raw way, where when you do go to improvise, you'll instinctively know where certain sounds are. You can't really get that too well when it comes to just testing your relative pitch when you're away from your instrument, but this comes down to just playing and playing what you are hearing. And I think another thing is, the bigger your list, the better, because you don't want to learn the songs. You want to always be a stranger to the songs. You always want to be very alien to the songs. You don't want to know them. You want every time when you go back to find one of these songs to just be confused of where to start. And I think that's the best place to start, because you really have to rely on your ear hardcore in order to find where to start and where to go to the next note. And a lot of times you'll be fishing around for the next note, but over time, I think, especially doing this on a consistent basis, you get better and better at just playing and finding these notes as you go along. It becomes more subconscious, And I think it's a very cool way to do ear training. It's not annoying like a lot of ear training is. This is very real, practical, and just, I wouldn't say easy, but it just works. And that's all I got to say about this subject. So I hope you guys got a lot out of this video. This is what I do. Maybe add it to your practice regime. If you like the video, like it down there. And if you have any ways you like to do ear training, let me know down below. Maybe I can add it to my regime as well. I'm always looking for new things, new experiments to try out with and see how I can move my own playing up to the next level. But thank you so much for watching, and check out my other videos over here, and I will see you on the next video.